This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Har Ghar Jal, a boon for all. The participants are Prafulla Ketkar, political analyst, and Ashwini Srivastav, journalist.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had on Friday addressed Har Ghar Jal Utsav event organized by Goa government for achieving 100% piped water supply coverage in its rural households. The Prime Minister had said that his government provided piped water connection to 7 crore rural families in the last 3 years under the Jal Jeevan Mission, which helped the country achieve the milestone of 10 crore such connection in villages so far. Describing water security as one of the biggest issues being faced globally, Prime Minister Modi had said it could prove to be a major challenge for the country in its march towards Viksit Bharat or developed India. 3 states, Goa, Telangana and Haryana, and 3 union territories, Puducherry, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands have reported 100% coverage under Jal Jeevan Mission. In these states and union territories, people have confirmed availability of adequate, safe and regular supply of water for all households in their villages through Gram Sabha. Prafulji, how do you see this progress under Jal Jeevan Mission in the country so far?
This is a very remarkable achievement. If you just see the numbers given on the Jal Jeevan Mission or Har Ghar Jal dashboard, then we get the numbers which are very staggering. Because as of now, the numbers are more than total number of households are 19 crore. Tap water facility as on date crossed 10 crore. So that clearly shows that we are moving in the right direction. Now many people would ask what it has to do with developed Bharat. If you see historically, now 52% of our rural households are covered with tap water. Now this is really remarkable simply because it is not just to do with water. If you understand the multiple dimensions of this scheme, then it has to do with health. It has to do with women empowerment. It has to do with putting your human resource for more constructive work, because fetching water from a few kilometers just to even drink water, that itself was a time-consuming thing in many rural parts of India. So functional household tap connection to every rural household by 2024 is not just going to provide drinking water facility, but it is going to ensure healthy and productive Bharat. And that is perhaps the reason, if we connect this to Honorable Prime Minister's speech delivered on the Independence Day, then if we really want to move in the direction of India of 2047, where every human resource is constructively used to achieve certain goals, certain objectives, certain parameters of developed India, then I believe this basic amenity of availability of tap water in every household is going to be the key.
On 15th August 2019, when the Prime Minister had launched Jal Jeevan Mission from the ramparts of the Red Fort, only 3.23 crore of the households in villages had access to piped water connection. The country achieved the landmark 10 crore functional household tap connection on 19 August 2022. That's a big achievement, Prafulji. While referring to yesterday's event in Goa, Prime Minister had said one more important thing, that Har Ghar Jal Mission has 4 important pillars. That is people's participation, partnership of stakeholders, political will, and optimum utilization of resources. How do you see his assertion on these 4 important pillars, and how would it help in achieving the ambitious target of ensuring piped water delivery to each and every household?
This is not just to do with Jal Jeevan Mission. If you see the all over parameters of good governance, then I believe participation, accountability, transparency and distribution, these are key parameters for any standard of good governance. And when we are talking about achieving something in a phased manner, and when government is putting it on the dashboard that every day you can verify how many tap connections have reached in which part of India. Now, for example, if you see Haryana, Telangana, Goa, you mentioned about these states. But if you see the numbers of Punjab or Gujarat, which traditionally were not very, they were considered to be drought-prone areas. And in Punjab, though it was not drought-prone, the ground level water was a key issue, even for the drinking water as well as agricultural purpose. So now if they are touching 95, 97, even Bihar has touched 95%. So I believe that these indicators, these numbers clearly show that it is not just about government initiative. All the stakeholders are taking along and they are the ones who are taking this mission forward. Many NGOs are working, many agencies are working, state governments are playing their role, and there is a sense of, I believe, a competitive and cooperative federalism also is in place, because there are many areas where the states will have to. Till recently, we have seen there have been many disputes about sharing waters, though it was mainly for the agricultural purpose or power generation. But even for drinking water now, we see some sort of understanding that is developing, and there is a healthy competition among the states to ensure tap water facility to mainly for the rural masses. So in that sense, I believe this participatory approach is really giving us sound results, and with this transparency and accountability, if we put all these parameters together, I believe that it can be definitely game changer for the life, or what Prime Minister often calls as ease of living for the rural masses.
You see, when we talk about water conservation, the perception that majority of people have is that it is the government's responsibility. India is blessed to have so many freshwater rivers and other sources for it. There are areas in the country where there is an abundance of water, but at the same time, there are regions which is starved for it. Do you feel there is a need to make people aware about conserving water, especially in the big cities? And how do we do that?
Been always this, what to say, imbalance. Earlier, our main cities used to be cities around water bodies, whether rivers or lakes. Many people say, this one is lake city, that one is lake city. In India, every city, because Indians, our civilization itself evolved around water bodies. Unfortunately, with the mindless expansion of concrete jungles, we have neglected them. Now, what will happen? On the one hand, we are going for, which Prime Minister also referred to it yesterday, on the one hand, open defecation free. On the other hand, we are getting tap water. When you get tap water, this is the sense that needs to be inculcated among people, that because till now when you have to fetch water from some distance, then obviously you consume it very judiciously. Now when you are getting with tap, many a times the mindset is you don't value that. And that's what we see especially in big cities, because big cities do not have their own water bodies. Cities like Mumbai, for example, they have to get water from distant areas. So it is mainly a problem of big cities. But now as villages are getting tap water facility, I think from initial stage itself, we inculcate this sense that yes, water is still a very precious commodity. Water has to be used and consumed, conserved, reused, and it has to become a culture. It has to be part of a civic culture, that not just saving, but judiciously using it. Every household has got, in urban areas, for example, every household has got now RO systems, because you don't get purified water. Now, what do you do with that water wastage that happens? Can we have some kind of utilization? Many societies in urban areas are coming up with groundwater facilities where the wastewater are treated and they are used for plantation and other activities. So, can we make this as a culture or sort of mandatory provisions for big societies at least, where it is very difficult to put a meter on utilization of water facility? I think recycling and treatment is the key, and that has to be part of our urban establishments, and in rural areas we need to inculcate this sense from the beginning, because this is the first phase where they are getting tap water facility. From initial days itself, if we inculcate that, I'm sure Indians generally value water and nature, so that cultural sense has to prevail over typical sense of consumerism.
There is also a strong thinking in the country to link rivers across the length and breadth of India. Do you feel that's a good idea? Is there a need to link rivers to check flooding and ensure long-time availability of water for all?
Eventually, we will have to go in that direction. We remember Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had initiated this idea, and under Vajpayee government, some kind of feasibility exercise was also done. But at the same time, there are environmental concerns associated with it. So instead of going for linking all rivers, I feel that there can be linkages of rivers in same water basin. And like for example, Tapti, Godavari in western region, Narmada, these are the rivers which can be connected because they share the same plain. Their topography is by and large same. So it is not going to create an environmental hazard. Practically linking every river to each other won't be possible. But if we take into consideration the topography and the basin structure of Indian rivers, like for example in eastern part, we see every time Bagmati creates havoc sometimes, and especially in Bihar and northern part, it starts with Nepal actually. And at the same time, many parts of the southern districts, they face droughts. If we have to balance this, then we need to think about linking somewhere these rivers in a very systematic way. While doing that feasibility exercise, I think environmental concerns related to topography should be the prime priority. With that approach, I think we can balance between water management and environmental protection.
What should India do to ensure water security for its population in the coming decade? Some steps that you can suggest?
Unless we think of integrated approach, it's not just about water, but how do we see our development? What is our development model? Most of the water related issues are not because of individual consumption or household consumption. It is mainly because of the way industrial plants are discharging their waste into water bodies. Simultaneously, the way water bodies are getting destroyed due to concretization in urban areas, the way water bodies are filled with bricks and cement and some concrete structures are created. I think we should identify, like for example, around Bangalore, many NGOs have come up with this idea of community-based participation in reviving water bodies. So they first identified what were the water bodies that were alive in Bangalore, and around that they built up an ecosystem in participation with the local NGOs, and hundreds of thousands water bodies are getting revived there. So I think with this participatory approach, it is very much possible. So one is integral development. We need to think about instead of thinking rural versus urban, agriculture versus industry, how we can balance between these two. Then participation of communities in this management. And now there are issues like grey water management. So the water scarcity can become an obstacle in accomplishing our goals related to development or Vikasit Bharat, as Prime Minister talked about. We need to sensitize our masses and especially the community-based organizations so that they can actively play a role in not just conserving water, but putting water use to more constructive work, reuse, recycle, treatment. This can become part of our civic culture and civic duties. That only is option. So government policies and community participation, that both these things should come together.
Hope the country is able to achieve 100% coverage under Jal Jeevan Mission soon. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Har Ghar Jal, a boon for all. The participants were Prafulla Ketkar, political analyst, and Ashwini Srivastav, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.